I am on. Okay. Do not see the stream. Okay. There it is. We are good to go. Okay. The audio is a bit echo chamber. I don't know if that's acceptable. Let me do a test. And you are showing the admin chat as well. Okay. All right, so YouTube's giving me a couple thumbs up. If the audio is a little loud on YouTube, just adjust as necessary, but I don't think we're getting any echo, so we'll go ahead and start. All right, y'all, so let's see, it's July 21st, 2021. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Let's take a look at what we have today. Couple of activities that have occurred since yesterday, and then we'll kind of cover yesterday's actual trading reaction that occurred in the markets. But I guess first and foremost, we are seeing a bit of a reaction inside of the crypto markets. This is at a key level, so the reaction here maybe is what everybody's anticipating. So seeing it after the fact is certainly nice. We do not yet have a lot of volume on this reaction, and this is a daily candle for BTC futures. So as we dig into lower time frames, we can see the size of this price reaction, definitely testing that 30,000 level inside of BTC. And we're seeing a bit of follow through in the price. But as we know, the crypto market has been sort of on edge as to whether or not this level is going to hold in the long term. And are we going to see a significant move throughout this trading range at any point, or do we need more downside? As this chart evolves, I'm starting to look more and more at the just sort of the preparation case. If we are starting to lose 30,000, where can we look for targets? And as we draw this trend line, we can see, you know, the bears did not get there yet, but this reaction so far is very muted. So in the short term, maybe just more of another pullback scenario. We're still having things like the 20 period act as resistance. There's a lot of EMA resistance as well. There's still some RSI divergence in these charts. So as this evolves, seeing if we can get any resolution from 30K that is more convincing. We've seen a couple of good reactions off of it in the past, but they've been more aggressive, and the follow through has been sold into. So that's obviously not a good sign for this level holding continuously if they keep testing it. Now, what I like about this is we were looking at some of the minor stocks yesterday in BBT chat. And what I found so interesting about them is as Bitcoin was actually under 30,000 for most of that session, the minor stocks in a strong rally of the market were also starting to basically pause their selling. Wasn't necessarily a strong inverse move. It wasn't necessarily a big strong bullish candle, but the selling did appear to stop, and the volume was enough to sort of think that maybe this level would hold for the short term one more time, seeing more of a short-term play back to the upside. And then from there, if the bears wish to really take it down, you know, I think they'll have a good opportunity with less of a bounce and less distance to travel inside of the selling that's been occurring recently. So short term, we do see the minor stocks gapping up today. The volume is not necessarily incredible in pre-market yet, and that's sort of indicative of maybe a bit of a short covering rally as opposed to new bullish demand entering the market. But some early signals yesterday before Bitcoin actually bottomed in the short term. And what's great about it is we had some opportunities yesterday with a bullish market, seeing the stopping volume start to take place. So you can look at things like Riot, you can look at things like Mara, which a little bit better of a technical chart, holding much closer to the 200, maybe a bit of like a little bit of a bear trap here, which is also nice. And things like Coin, which have at this point solidified this sort of horizontal support. We're actually starting to rise slightly in this trading range each time we get bought. So if I put this horizontal and dynamic, or I guess a slanted support line, we see that the price is reacting slightly higher each time. So if you are looking for that sort of turnaround play, this is good risk to reward scenarios, but the understanding is that the bulls have not proven anything to us yet in this market. And a lot of these have been more trading opportunities to the upside as opposed to really clear signals for a big turnaround. That has not occurred yet. So, you know, whichever equity stock you're trading, there was some short-term signals for this 30,000 breach to not necessarily have a ton of follow through. And yet the bears are still in control in the midterm to long-term charts, or I'll say midterm, not long-term. So, you know, crypto space is interesting today. Yesterday, if you joined us for some opportunities that were occurring in the event of a market bounce, which we did have, there was quite a few names you could have chosen. A lot of people in the chat played airliners. The Jets ETF showing how strong this indecision into reversal structure can be for people who like to trade intraday, or even for very quick swing trade opportunities. These stopping candles and how they set up are often how a good trade risk definition can be set. So short-term opportunity here in the Jets ETF, you could have chosen your favorite airliner. AAL, DAL, and UAL are the three that I like to pull up. They all look the same, hence the correlation that has occurred here. And similar to these names, the cruises had a very similar reaction with also a similar setup. Indecision into a breakout and basically a reversal of the overall trend in CLH and RCL. They all look the same. And this is with a market that did bounce. So we had a lot of basically signals helping this trade setup really play itself. And if you attended yesterday, if you took advantage of it yesterday, congratulations. There's a lot of stocks that did this setup if in more of an oversold condition. But as with the market being so strong, we also had just general strength in a lot of stocks that had pulled back. You want to think your tech stocks, Apple and Microsoft. Apple probably a better performer intraday. I would say that there was a bit of muted reaction, but we are seeing some follow through in things like Tesla and Amazon. Amazon, notably the former CEO completing the test flight for Blue Origin. And with the likes of Netflix, which did report earnings, we'll probably be looking at this one today to see if there's any sort of opportunity post earnings. Obviously with the earnings reaction, we're not seeing a ton of upside, and we're also not really seeing any range expansion from earnings. So it might be a little bit challenging today to trade this one unless it starts to break out or break down. So yeah, basically review of yesterday, and some of our index ETFs are reacting in a similar way that they have in the past. We're seeing IWM return back to the midpoint of the trading range. This is that whole concept of ranges used as risk definition, and the fact that the IWM has a massive volume point of control around 220. So every time the IWM hits above and hits near this trend line, we see basically the sellers take over, returning you to this midpoint. And then in larger scale sell-offs, we get to the low end of this trading range. The opposite becomes true. Buyers take advantage, and this gets you once again to your midpoint. You can either play the short term, usually these take a couple of days to resolve, and you can play this in a longer sense, trying to get to the top of the trading range. But these two targets have been in play for quite a while, and so far the IWM has not broken this pattern. But we also have some new development inside of the daily, as over time, this is allowing for the 200 period to catch up with the price. So if you're looking at the IWM, you can look at this previous bounce point and consider some additional risk definition if we come into this area, because the idea here is that if we ever lose this zone, the downside is, the risk to the downside is quite large. But the upside potential is the idea of breaking this trading range at some point on a bounce. So your risk definition is always defined by these trading ranges, and oftentimes you can play conservatively, which takes less time to achieve, or you can play in a longer sense and look for those opportunities above and for the eventual breakout that may occur. The Qs, we're still not seeing any clear, I would say, prevailing buying inside of the Qs based on the volume. This reaction yesterday, much more, I would say, impulsive, and based on the fact that we did drop heavily from the sell-off that occurred on Monday. The fact that the Qs did react in the same way as the overall market did help in yesterday's rally. We're still seeing tech essentially holding their gains, and with the TNX, I kept this on for now, but I'll go ahead and redraw it. We are seeing some strong reactions now that we're starting to hit this low swing high point of about 1.2, I believe. I'll just call it 1.2 for now. So as with the previous correlations in this market, the interest rate and the bond market moving higher in the bond market and leading to interest rates falling, the tech sector really took a nice momentum move on that big reaction that we got from bonds breaking out. This has been occurring pretty much since the beginning of June. Now we are starting to see this momentum potentially pausing for a bit. We definitely have some engulfing structure inside of the bond market, and this sell-off in bonds could have easily led to capital being rotated back into equities, leading to how strong yesterday's rally was throughout the day. So we're getting that similar repeating structure here where we're trying to assess whether bonds are at a critical juncture and whether they're going to pause in the direction of the overall trend, along with interest rates changing their directionality. So far, if I just take off these studies, this move has been significant in the interest rates. You have to think about it in terms of percentages. This drop here, this tool always gives me a little trouble. I'll just go from here to here. So, this decline from 1.7 to about 1.1, or we'll just call it from 17 to 11. This is a massive decline in interest rates, specifically the 10-year. And this has had a jarring effect on the market. We've seen tech really benefit from this, but massive sell-offs and declines in our inflationary sectors. Financials seeing a bit of that rally into yesterday, which is, complementary of maybe the interest rate starting to bottom. But as with everything rallying yesterday, industrial is probably the strongest sector. We need to start looking once again at tech and saying, is the fun over? Are we starting to see interest rates bottom? And if they begin to once again change their course, then tech once again has a little bit of selling pressure and some headwind to consider. Now, the opposite can be true. If that low is not set, then obviously tech may see a little bit more upside, but these correlations are not necessarily perfect. It's not the case that just because interest rates are going down, tech has to outperform. It's simply something that we've seen recently and has continued to be a pretty strong indicator of whether or not these trends will continue and sort of how strong they can be. So this back and forth motion of the market, along with healthcare really starting to break out and continue its trend to the upside, really not seeing a lot of the selling pressure from 2 days prior. These are all things to kind of wrap into your thesis of where do you want to focus and where should you be looking for good risk to reward scenarios. I think that with interest rates putting up some clear signals, this can kind of help us find those areas of interest. And, obviously if things continue to the downside in interest rates, tech may still be the winner in all of this, but we also have to consider that the TLT has been rallying quite strongly. This momentum may have more yet to come. So we'll kind of be watching this, especially now that we have a potential sell signal in the form of this engulfing candle structure in the TLT. And then a quick look at just crude and natural gas, both of which are in different positions overall. Crude with a bit of a return rally. That same concept here of the stopping volume and the fact that the oversold condition sort of gives way to a bit of a relief in the larger downside move that has occurred. So crude is coming to start to test its actual trend. This will be an interesting spot to see if crude can recover after a fairly significant sell-off. We're talking 10 to 15% in the case of CL. And this is opposite of natural gas, which is taking a while to load. Natural gas, the larger scenario here is that we may be looking at a month to year-long consolidation period that is just starting to break out. So the impulsiveness of the move in natural gas, the fact that this has not really seen the same downside pressure as crude, and obviously from the short term, seeing how strong this move has been, we're talking once again in percentages. These are massive gains in natural gas. Looking to this market to see if there's additional opportunity to the upside, maybe in the shorter term pullbacks, and keeping in mind the larger term structure here of the potential for a massive breakout. So now, with yesterday's rally, and let's go back to our SPY, the last 10 minutes or so. We've looked at some of these aspects that I think are indicative to market directionality in the short term. And how yesterday played into that is sort of a lesson in how you can evaluate these different metrics to find good trade scenarios. Yesterday was a big trend day. You know, there's basically no one questioning that the way the structure of the market moved, the fact that we really didn't hit any selling or even a fade until near the end of the market session. And although this chart doesn't do it justice, if I look at the SPX, the fact that we had such an aggressive sell-off forming this large market gap, and the fact that the market was able to fill that gap very quickly on this pullback reaction is a testament to some of the market dynamics that are occurring right now. So on the downside, if you were trading Monday, you notice that a lot of our sectors were all trading to the downside. It was a very basically sell all kind of market. We had high correlation. Advanced decline was very poor. The market internals were very weak. So however you look at the market, everything was pointing to the aggressiveness of that sell-off. But amidst all of that, on Monday, inside of the SPX, we did close pretty much on the money at the expected move for the week. We also reacted quite well off of the 50-day moving average, and we saw into the close on Monday the fact that shorts started to cover. There was a pretty decent rebound from about 422, or if you're looking at the SPX, it'll be closer to about 423, into the 425 region into the close. Going into yesterday's session, if you take these factors into play, and you also throw in ideas like, what is the bond market doing? Are we seeing continuation inside of TLT and more aggressive downside movement inside of interest rates, leading to this uncertainty and fear in the market? Or are we seeing the potential for this to stall in the short term? Along with your analysis of the actual chart that you're trading. Something like the SPY, if we look more closely at pre-market and where we opened, note the fact that the SPY, after all of this selling, this massive gap down into a zone that should have pulled as support. These are things we've seen in the past with the 50-day, the trend line. We did crack it slightly, but we're basically waiting to see who's really in charge of this market. This area right here, the fact that we gapped slightly higher in pre-market, our morning range was able to accept this new region of value, and the fact that the market essentially started to break out from this morning range should tell you that the upside potential on that huge gap that occurred, the fact that all of our sectors were green, they were correlated in the same way that they were correlated on Monday, the opposite took effect yesterday. We had full correlation back to the upside. And amidst all of that, there was no one clear leader leading to typically more range-bound trading, or at the very least, a less intense trend day, maybe a more muted trend day. We didn't have tech leading, we didn't have financials leading, we didn't have healthcare leading. It was everyone in the same direction at the same time, high correlation. These are the days that I would argue trying to fight this trend, or trying to look back in time and say, yes, we sold off hard, I want to get short. That's typically in the time frame that we look at the wrong mindset to take. You want to be open to the idea that the imbalance that occurred on Monday, the fact that the entire market was down in one direction, and the fact that the market was starting to show those signals basically retract. The bond market found at the time a top. It gapped up and had no follow through. The dollar was starting to essentially calm down. We're still seeing a breakout in the dollar, but it wasn't a big momentum move. We're just seeing a little bit of a climb. Volatility came off quite sharply. And you can see that here. This spike up has been sold into so far. There's currently no follow through. And the fact that all of our sectors were up. Using that as just a thesis and saying, if it's going to be a trend day today, I need to assess whether this trend has enough strength to fill the gap, which is often a market, I would say it's a market dynamic that occurs very often. Gaps often do not like to be open for very long. Markets do like to fill them when possible. And the fact that all the sectors were up at the same time, changing your thesis, changing your trading style, allowing yourself to be flexible to this scenario, which it's a rare one. It's not a common scenario. So this is not a general statement of your strategy, your edge being not applicable here, but knowing that this could be occurring and allowing yourself to adapt in the moment. These are the types of days that can really solidify profitability in the short term, because the ease of movement through the market is often, it's very accommodating for traders. So hopefully you were able to find some trend setups yesterday. There were quite a few. There was also some great reversal setups, but these are stocks that have been moving aggressively to the upside for quite a while. Someone pointed out mRNA finally starting to put in some topping action, and you can see how much opportunity that was yesterday as we started to break down. We're talking about 10 to 20% drops in the matter of a day on mRNA. So very, very aggressive drop. I'll say 10 to 15%, at least from high to low. So lots of opportunity, lots of volatility. Market did appear to sort of stop on a dime. The shorts took that one flash crash sort of scenario and basically ran with it, but we haven't seen any follow through yet. So far the trend remains intact, but we're starting to see those cracks form with the bond market still in a risk off type position. We're still seeing volatility elevated relative to some of the lows. We just didn't see follow through yesterday. And with all this, we need to play this market thinking more, I would say, short term, understanding that the movement here is so large that the opportunity is actually more advantageous in the short term, as opposed to potentially this overall trend starting to possibly break down. We haven't seen it yet. There was a bit of a risk based on Monday's session, but that risk so far in the technicals has been short-term alleviated. We just need to prepare for this event if it's going to occur again. So with all that said, I'm Jarad. This is Engineering the Markets. Obviously, we'll take a look at the gappers today. I'm still looking at, the Bitcoin names. I'm maybe looking at travel for a little bit of follow through, but I think the big opportunity was yesterday. And we still have some potential strength inside the tech sector, but if interest rates are starting to bottom once again, tech may start to basically profit take, start to have less follow through in the momentum. So with that said, we'll see what the market gives us. And obviously we'll talk more tomorrow about some opportunities, but stay tuned for pre-market prep with someone. I need to figure out who's actually on deck these days. But stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, Norm. How are you this morning?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing great, thank you. I'm looking forward to a good day today. So, we'll see what happens. Good morning, and good morning, everybody in the Bear Bull Traders room. Jason, Paul, Marvin, Daniel, Lou, all you guys and gals who are there, and of course, everybody out there on YouTube. So we appreciate everybody joining us. If you're on YouTube, I want to give a shout out real early here to Daniel Constantini, already
super chat.
Little super chat in there. So thank you so much for that. He was saying good morning to Jarad. That was fantastic. And
another wow. Thank you.
He's doubling down. All right. Well, double good morning to you, Daniel. So, man, I have got like little fruit flies in here. It's that season, and they're driving me crazy. Anyways. All right.
You sure they're not bot flies?
What's that?
You sure they're not bot flies?
Yeah, maybe they're spying on me. But
there's that would indicate a corpse of some sort being nearby.
Oh, those types of flies. Good Lord. I hope not. Then I've got bigger problems. Because that means I didn't bury the body.
You don't you don't have your screen in the room.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, see, so many things to remember to do. All right, one sec here. We will fix that for all of our friends in the room so you can see this. I want you to be able to see our smiley, happy faces. There we go. All right, in the room. Hopefully everybody can see us now. And why don't we get started here without further ado. So, as Jarad was talking about pre-market, I want to talk about yesterday a little bit because pretty much, guys, look, I've got to give Jarad some credit here. Exactly as he and, frankly, Brian and Thor all predicted, yesterday played out with a bounce-back day after the pull-down that we saw on Monday. It was exactly what they said. And HP, yes, I am not Carlos. So as you can see, I want to make sure you all know that, in case my skin tone doesn't tell you enough, or the lack of hair. Anyways, so yesterday played out exactly as predicted, and we had a few stocks that we were looking at going into the market yesterday. IMNM was one that we were looking at. Actually was quite a disappointment. It had pulled up something 47% pre-market and pretty much sold off for the rest of the day and didn't really give us much. However, there were a number of stocks that did move. CCIV was one I was skeptical about pre-market, but if you were patient, you could have got a nice move on it, but it's not one that I was watching. Neuro was one that we were looking at yesterday morning pre-market, and it gave you a great run throughout the day. This is a great example of one where you could have essentially gone long and just sat there all day. IBM, on the other hand, had earnings. It was gapping up, but it had a great sell-off. We'll come back and talk about IBM in a second. And then we had a whole series that basically followed the market. And if you were listening again to what Jarad had sort of given us as an indication for the market, and then Brian and Thor as they were leading into the open, you can see CCL, Apple, AMD, AMC all gave sort of all-day runner opportunities that allowed you to play them. Now, one thing that I want to share, because one thing we pride ourselves on at Bearable Traders here is sort of full transparency. And if you join as a member, you will see that from us, that we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm going to share a couple of my trades very quickly, just to give you an indication. Usually I am pretty proud of the trading I do. Yesterday was not one of those days. I did trade IBM. I got a great entry, as you can see here, on it, but I misplayed it. It was one of those where this is a do as I say, not as I do. Completely misplayed it. Really, I'm actually okay with the trade I took, but look at the run that I missed, right? The opportunity here was massive that I could have taken on this $5 rundown. Instead, I got what was more like a 70 or 80 cent move. Got myself stopped out at break even. I'm okay with that. Followed my rules. What I am not okay with was the fact that I didn't continue to reassess the stock and play it for the move down. Why? I found yesterday that I was unfortunately very stubborn. So, which leads me to the big tale of woe. This is probably where I need to cue up the sad violin music as I, start to tell you my tale. But anyways, but seriously, if you look here, I had a stubborn moment. Look at this. I normally trade 5 to 8 times a day. Yesterday, I had 15 shorts, 15 short trades on Apple alone. Right?
That's a Christmas tree, sir.
It's an absolute Christmas tree, and it's a schmozzle, right? It was ridiculous. Why? Because I consider myself a reversal trader. That tends to be what I trade, but I failed to acknowledge, what we were predicting was going to happen in the market, and I was looking for the reversal when Apple was giving me zero indication of reversal. Frankly, there's no excuse. In the moment, I just kept pounding at it. But once I did my journal, I was able to very easily tell there was no volume signature. There was no clear reversal, right? This is just ridiculous. There was no excuse for that. It's poor trading, and it showed that I was so stubbornly looking for the reversal. I was not listening to what the market was telling me. Now, I always get the condolence, so don't worry about that. I did have some good trades. I had a good opportunity on BA where I actually got the reversal and made some money, and then I closed the day with my best friend on AMD, where I got a great trade into the close. You can see over here in the top right on AMD. But I really just wanted to highlight the fact that we are not immune to bad trading, and it can happen to anybody. So don't get stubborn. Being stubborn in the market will always be a failing proposition, right? You cannot force the market to do, to bow to your will as much as you may want to. Trust me. So anyways, just thought I'd share that as a quick recap to give you an idea that, things don't always go well, but I've learned from it. I feel fairly comfortable coming into the market today because I think hopefully I've got that out of my system. And I do that occasionally, right? And as much as it aggravates me, I know that I do it. And hopefully now we're looking for a good day. All right, so with that, let's take a look at what we got. Our gappers list is starting to build up, and let's take a look at what we got. I'm going to start with the one that's right at the top, if I can spell it properly. Oh my goodness. With MEDS. So Meds here is gapping up 47%, less than 1 million shares, but it's moving right now. And let me move to a 1-minute chart here. Wow, so far pre-market, look at this, not a single red candle to be found. It is just on the way up. I didn't even look at this because it wasn't on the gappers earlier. Norm, any news on this?
They scored a deal, telemedicine service distribution deal with Southeastern Grocers. Financial terms not disclosed. So low float moving on that.
Okay.
It just came out 3 or 4 minutes ago. So
Okay, well that explains why it really picked up. It looks like about 6 or 7 minutes ago, a little bit before the news. As you said, the float. What am I seeing the float here? Sure.
3 million.
Oh, 3 million. Yeah, that's pretty low. All right. Well, Neuro is gapping here again today, up 31%. Like I mentioned, it was on our list yesterday. You can see the big candle here. This feels like a second day play. I personally didn't find any news on it earlier. I don't know if you see anything new, Norm, but I'm assuming it's just a second day excitement happening.
I mean, it's still on the news from yesterday, which was a FDA designating breakthrough status on a nerve stimulator treatment for fibromyalgia. So
Right. I saw that. So yeah, okay. Well, it's continuing to show some price action. 7.7 million shares, so very active here this morning. So it might be worth keeping an eye on. Next on our list is Mara. Doesn't look great pre-market, but Mara is moving with only 163,000 shares, 7% increase over yesterday's close. Little bounce on the daily here. It doesn't look great, frankly, so far. So I'm not seeing a lot to love with Mara.
there's a decent bounce in Bitcoin after some serious redness, and now holding 30,000 and getting above that. So that's popping. Got Riot Mara Can. I think Mara, I believe, is also at a conference today speaking. So just Bitcoin up.
Right, good point. You're right. They're all on my list here, and they're all doing pretty much the same thing. So I'll keep Mara on the list. Maybe we'll see if it gets better to set some levels against and delete the other two. Next I see on the gappers is PSAC, which in Canada means something very different if you're in the public service. Alliance of Canada, PSAC. But anyways, this is what is this? Property Solutions Acquisitions. Oh, it's a SPAC. All right.
It's a SPAC. Terrible. They're buying Faraday. It got approved, I believe, yesterday, late afternoon.
Pre-market really does not look good at all. So while I'm seeing just over 100,000 shares traded, I don't like the look of PSAC whatsoever. So I'm going to take it off my list. So DKNG. DraftKings, I actually forgot what it was called. I just know it as Donkey Kong. Moving pre-market here, 300,000 shares, up 3%. Looks okay. Nothing great. I don't know if there's any news going on there.
Yeah, they announced some NFT business stuff that they're going to, I guess, dip their toes into. I thought NFTs are so March.
They're so March. Exactly. So March. I mean, come on already. Anyways, so March. Well, let's see if DKNG has anything. It is a little bit of a bandwagon-y, right, to just make an announcement like that, and we'll see what happens, but they are a little late to the game. It is moving, though, so we'll keep it here. We'll see if we get some action into the open. CCL moving again today, like we said earlier. Big bounce yesterday. Nice play on it yesterday. I don't usually have a lot of faith that like CCL, the cruise lines, NCLH, for example, will have significant movement on a second day. But so far, pre-market doesn't look that bad. Million shares, up 2.8%. So we'll see what happens. CUK is just another class of stock, I guess, against CCL, so I'll ignore that one. Coke is on our list. Coca-Cola, I know they had earnings up 2.6%. Not normally a great trader. Every once in a while you can get a good trade if you're patient and you're willing to play the trend, but not normally a great trader. We might leave it here to set some levels. I think, Norm, they beat their numbers, did they, on Coke?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. There's a couple others that I know had earnings that I don't see on the gappers list here, like Verizon and Johnson & Johnson reported. I think they both reported. I don't remember if it was this morning or after the close yesterday. I think it was this morning sometime. This morning. But I don't see them gapping here, so obviously they're not getting a big reaction to their earnings. So keep those in mind, but I won't review them. What else have we got here that's of interest? XPEV is on our list here. Let's take a look at XPEV. XPEV gapping up 2.6%, 400,000 shares. It can often be a good player, but so far the pre-market doesn't look good at all on XPEV. So not liking the look of that. And I'm seeing BP and Oxy. So a look at Oxy, as we generally know, it's often the better trader out of the two. If we're playing oil stocks, just over 100,000 shares, up 2%. Again, doesn't look great, frankly, on Oxy. So not great there. All right, let's look at what's gapping down. AEHR, wasn't that was on our list yesterday, wasn't it? As a low float, if I remember. Maybe not.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. All right,
19 million.
Pre-market action doesn't look good, guys. 150,000 shares, but we've got all these flat minute candles. Really, not much happening there for AEHR. All of my gap downs only have like 100,000 shares, so I'm not even going to look. CPOP, SGOC, ISEE. I can see them on my list here. They don't look great, just based on the number of shares being traded. I will take a look at AMC. It can sometimes be fun. Oh. What a flat pre-market. Well, we had this 8 o'clock candle that has flattened out the rest of our chart. So if I get rid of that, you can see it looks a little bit better, but down 2%, 3.3 million shares, so it's continuing on its meme ways. So maybe I'll keep that on the list. And that's about it. Norm, anything else that you're looking at that you like?
Yeah, well, Myrna, you didn't see it when you were just looking, but Myrna, Moderna keeps popping up and then going away on the gappers as it hovers around 2% down. Had that big, I know Jarad talked about this, had this big topping day, threw in a doji yesterday, so it might be interesting to watch. Just note that it can, have some violent moves at times.
Yeah. Just looking here, it was up in the morning, and then mRNA dropped midday and was trending down in the afternoon. So looks like we're continuing that downward trend. All right, we'll leave it on here. Can't hurt to set some levels on it. What else have you guys got out there? X. Somebody's mentioning X. Let's take a peek at X. It doesn't look great pre-market. Although I know people have taken it after the market open and have had some good trading on it. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I mean, look at the price action yesterday. Pretty flat for most of the day. You had to have a lot of patience and be trading with big shares, small moves to get anything of value out of that. So I don't think X is something that I'm going to take a look at for now. Is Apple moving again this morning? We'll take a look at that. Apple does have 700,000 shares. I thought yesterday for sure it was going to go after 150 when it started to get really aggressive, but it topped out around 147. In fact, I think it hit 147 to the penny, or maybe it went over by a couple of cents yesterday, but it just could not really get over that level, and that was the haul. So maybe today it's going to make another run at it. We'll see. It's not out of the realm of possibility for Apple to make a $3-4 move, so we'll see. Let's go to YouTube and see, what are you guys looking at out there? Tesla? Let's take a look at Tesla. Oh, if I can spell it. Tesla doesn't look great pre-market so far. I know they had some news this morning, something about them opening up their charging network to all electric vehicles, or at least more electric vehicles. I don't know if that's enough to move their stock, quite frankly, but it may be in play. So far this morning, doesn't look great. Netflix actually had they had earnings last night. We were watching this after the close in the room. So if you join us here at Bear Bull Traders, not only do all the market trading, but we look at earnings after hours. Netflix was one. We were watching this. The spread was going from $1 to $6 in the close. Like it was ridiculous. That being said, we had a couple of members that played the bounce on this and got a $5 or $6 move. So all power to them, but that's just too crazy for me. Right now, it's trading down slightly, 118,000 shares. From what I remember, they had very mixed sort of earnings report. I think if you can fact check me.
Yeah, roughly. it wasn't spectacular. And I think their current quarter subscriber is going to fall short. So
yeah, I think Q2 they said that they just beat the subscribers, but they were forecasting well lower than the market was looking for on subscribers. So maybe a pull down on Netflix. I find Netflix hard to trade. Could be the price. I just generally find it a difficult trade, but I'll leave it on the list for now. Let's take one more. People are talking about NVIDIA. So we're second day after split here. NVIDIA didn't do a lot yesterday. Remember we were talking about that it can get a lot of volume. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to get a lot of movement. And yesterday sort of proved that out, where it sort of just chopped along, didn't move around a lot. So, but it did do it on large volume. So far this morning, already 300,000 shares. Looking at the pre-market action, looks okay, but not great. So, our analysis on it won't change much from yesterday. So with that, that's probably a lot. I see Stefan, maybe one last one here. You're calling out Nike. I don't know that, it normally doesn't give us much indication pre-market. 1,400 shares traded. It had a big gap back at the end of June and has really just sort of been consolidating, trending sideways here. So I don't know what, Stefan, if there's something that gives you a feel that today will be its day, but so far I'm not seeing any indication of that from the pre-market action. So, all right, so we'll get rid of that. All right, with that, why don't we move forward and let's get to our announcements. We'll get through that. We'll set some levels, and if we have a little time, we'll talk about what the market may bring. So let me switch over to that, and Norm can tell us what's happening in BBT land.
Yep. Last night we had John's webinar about probabilistic thinking and trading. Should be posted soon if it's not already. The next week, Peter, you are doing picking the right share size for you. I know you've done several iterations of this. It gets better each time. Very, very important topic. The sizing of trades is one of the most essential parts of trading. So looking forward to that next week. Then Nate, our mindfulness expert tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, is going to be talking about stress in trading, accepting it and responding in a positive manner. And then next week we'll have Dr. Katz, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about, town hall format with him, where he'll take two traders from the room and discuss their trading journey with them. And kind of just an open format so others can get the experience and understanding that we all teach each other here in the community. So if you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade with entries and exits, of course, and add any commentary you can to describe the trade posted on Twitter. Tag at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We will pick the winner each day and announce it on Twitter and in the room in the afternoon. And then all those trades of the day are eligible for trade of the week, which is voted on by the team over the weekend and posted on Twitter and in the room come Monday afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the room, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24 to get you a discount off the intro membership. That is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Also includes the onboarding classes that we do live every Monday night. That is the onboarding and technology classes hosted by Carlos, Mike, and Kyle. Then our new promotion this month, first time we've done this, we'll see how it goes. You can get 50% off your first month of a monthly elite membership. So if you want to, if you're either not a member or if you're a basic member with only room access, for essentially the same price, you can switch over, give that a shot, and get that first month at the same cost as the basic membership to get all the access to the webinars and everything else.
Excellent. Thank you, Norm. One thing I'll just go back to the member trade of the day, guys. Some of our members are killing it. I am amazed every day at the trades we get. And I want to give a shout out to Laylee. Laylee, I'm just so proud of her. She's been, she was not only a member of Bearable Traders, but she was in our Peak Capital boot camp. And she really took to heart the lessons. She was not afraid to ask for help. I worked with her. I know she worked with Eamon and Thor and really absorbed our information. And she is making killer trades almost every day now. It is fantastic to see. So Laylee and so many of our other traders are really sort of, just taking full advantage of the opportunities that present, and I really want to give them, sort of the due credit for the hard work they've put in and what they've been able to achieve with that. So, great work out there. Actually, as I mentioned, Peak Capital, somebody's asking about our next boot camp. Norm can talk to that a little bit, but our next boot camp should be happening in September. So if you're interested, yes, think about joining us in September for that.
We'll start signing up in early August. I believe August 8th is when registration opens, some 9th maybe, and then the next boot camp will start the day after the long weekend, Labor Day weekend. So see everybody there.
Yeah, there you go. And if you want to find us, it's real easy. Peak Capital Trading, all run together.com. You can find it there. The information will be posted. Just keep checking back, and once the camp opens for registration, you can you'll be good to go. So, and I like it, Crazy Cat Lady. You keep the name there, right? We'll keep your identity a secret. I think that's like your superhero handle now. So, Chris. Anyways, all right. So let's do some levels and see where we go. We're running a little early, so we may have some time to look at things you guys want to take a look at. All right. Starting with MEDS, so looking at meds, not a lot of levels to set here. I don't see my tinfoil line. If you remember, I mentioned that yesterday, 8 o'clock settlement line that I like to look at. It looks like I've set one here at some point, so I'm going to remove that. But I will set a daily level here at the top of this candle, 949, and then I'll set one up here just so I know where these are at 1082, so those are easy. Right now we're sitting at about $7 on the stock price. Let me just go back in time and see if we have some levels. Well, we do. Look at how many days MEDS bounced off of this level right around $8. So that's certainly an area to look at. Let's set something right at $8 here, and we will keep an eye on that because obviously that's been a level of resistance for MEDS in the past. So we'll look at that for the open. Neuro, like we mentioned, second day play, moving up nicely pre-market. I see this tin foil line is right now below the price action, but may come into play if we get a big pullback on Neuro, which is quite possible. It's $2 away from the current price action, but it's definitely within reach. We're heading, well up above yesterday. Let's see if this, what are we, whoops, I'm on the wrong chart. Let's see if are we at all-time high or is, no, we are not. Wow. Okay. Go back in time. This must have had some reverse splits with the stock price reporting $40,000. So obviously Neuro's had a rough go of it. Now I've got to find the point at which it was somewhere within our price range. I'm not sure whether these levels are even going to be relevant. So let's see here. We got to go back to 2016 on this. Well, I like gaps, as you heard me mention yesterday, and there is a gap here that it has never recovered from between about 1670, 1680, and $18. So I'll set some daily levels there, and we'll see if that comes into play if Neuro keeps going up. But obviously, this thing has room to run because it's been beaten down for a while. So it looks like this news on their fibromyalgia treatment is very welcome. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's take a look at Mara is the next one on our list. I've got a daily level already marked at 39.68. You can see why it hit that level back here in May, and I'll keep an eye on that. We also now have a level up here at 33.58, so I'll add a level there. Notice how I have another level here at 28.36, which was the low that it sort of bounced off of here back in April, as well as back in February. So that may be a level that comes into play if Mara chooses to run. Now, we acknowledge this is buoyed by the crypto market, and it sort of moves in tandem with that. So we'll see what happens. I will very likely not be trading this. Pretty much guaranteed. But if for any of those that want to, there you go. All right, DKNG, sort of a fan favorite here. We'll set some levels on it. What are we at? We're up 3%. All right, I'm going to set a level right here around 53 and a quarter. I'll set another one at the high here at 56 because that looks like where it showed it had resistance. They also roughly correspond, in fact, in between those two levels is sort of where it showed support when it was moving on its way down and had a bounce. And I can see previous areas of support and resistance. So I like that, right? Look at how many times it either used these two levels that I just set off of, the May-June. If you go back in time, then look at, they were resistance and support all the way back to the beginning of this calendar year. So that to me looks like a couple of good levels to look at. On the low side, I've already got a level set at 41.79, and the highs and lows of the previous 2 days will give me some levels there. So that's what I'll be looking at on DKNG. Next on CCL, like we mentioned, big up day yesterday, worth taking a look at if it's going to go higher today. I've got a high here of 22.36, so I'm going to set a level there. I also set one over here at the low of 22.84, so that gives me a couple of levels to the upside to look at on CCL. To the downside, again, once again, highs and lows of the previous 2 days. Although I notice I didn't set this level here, low of 20.80. I'm going to set that just because this candle set the gap before it gapped down there. So that gives me probably enough to look at on CCL. Coca-Cola, like I mentioned, can be a tough trader. Not one of my favorites, however. I will set some levels for you. If we look at this one, peak of this candle here, 66, 67, 68 is a good level to watch. I'll also put another one while it's close to this, but it's... What did I just say? I think I said the wrong number. 56.67 and 56.48. I'll put a couple of levels there. I acknowledge that it's above it, so let's go back and see what we've got up above that. Well, we definitely have an area to play in here. So back in the beginning of last year, looks like is the last time we were up this high on Coke. If it continues to go higher, this may be of interest. 59 exactly. It looks like where it peaked before it headed down. So I'm going to set a level, and I'll make sure it's exactly at 59 bucks. Remind me to keep an eye on that for Coca-Cola. I do notice I've got my tinfoil line here, so I'll set that. Notice it's exactly where it peaked early this morning at 7 o'clock. Hit that same level at 8, so that may come into play at 57.69. There you go, Jason. I made a pun and I didn't mean to. Last time we were this high on Coke, yes, was back in 2020. All right, AMC. I like the tinfoil line in AMC. You can see it actually is a big bodied candle, which is rare, but it still sets that same range that's worth keeping an eye on. I've got some levels. You can see a bunch of yellow lines on my chart. Those are the tinfoil lines from previous few days. I'll just keep them there because sometimes they come into play on AMC. We are moving out the top side of this sort of retracement pattern, which means we may get some resistance to the upside here right around 49. If we break it through that, then I'll sort of look around 60, 61. So, because I can see it bounced off of that quite a few times back earlier this year throughout the month of June. So we'll see what happens on AMC. Highs and lows, as always, of the previous 2 days. Give me some levels there. mRNA is, once again, got a good tinfoil line. I will set that. Highs and lows of the previous 2 days actually give me a range here. This could be an inside day for mRNA, which means that it could play within the high and low of yesterday's price market action. We are within it today. Who knows? Maybe we'll break out to the downside. We are down 1% today, but I don't know. I'm not sure what mRNA is going to do. Don't like the look of it. It's not likely to make my short list. Apple is moving nice so far this morning. Definitely will set that 8 o'clock settlement line there, so set that. If this does go to the upside, well, how can I not? I mean, 150, we know we've got it in mind because that's where it peaked a few days ago. And if it goes back there, we might take note. Remember yesterday I said it sort of was 147, 147.10 to be exact is where it bounced from yesterday. So we'll look at that for today and see what happens on Apple. Tesla, like we mentioned, had some news. They were opening up their charging network to other EVs. The stock is pretty much right at break even with yesterday's close. Pre-market action doesn't look great. Nice tinfoil line, though. Definitely worth watching here on Tesla. So I will mark that as we're right at the bottom of it right now on the current price action. If this thing runs, I would be looking for resistance up here at 687-ish. Yeah, 687. I'll set another level at 693, and we'll see what happens on Tesla. Netflix, like I said, I don't actually expect much out of Netflix. We're second day post-split, and we'll see what happens. The tinfoil line, Rami, well, the tinfoil line represents... basically, it's a settlement area. So at 8 a.m., there's a settlement of overnight accounts. And often what that ends up with is you get a large volume candle right at 8 o'clock, usually has big wicks and small body. And here it is. I was looking for my picture on it. So you get this candle that's got big wicks and a small body that sometimes sets a level in which a stock plays, or at least it sets resistance levels and support levels that it might pay attention to throughout the day. So that's why I take a look at it. It's named after Thor. There he is wearing his little tinfoil hat. So that's what the tinfoil line means. All right, last but not least, NVIDIA. Once again, the settlement line is a so-called tinfoil line. You can see I'll set my highs and lows on that. It's playing within that range ever since it was set at 8 o'clock this morning. So we'll see if it continues. I said Netflix earlier was post-split. Anyways, NVIDIA is the one that split. So if I said that, I misspoke. But anyways, NVIDIA's got a high up here pre-split. 208.75 is that new number. Highs and lows of the previous 2 days are already set. And again, I'm thinking we may actually play within that, sort of like with Netflix. Netflix had earnings, so I said that completely wrong. Anyways, NVIDIA is the split one. So we'll see what happens with that. Those are all the levels that I've got to set. Oh yeah, look at that. You can look at my email. What happened? Every once in a while, my I guess if I hold it open too long, my scanners all disappear, and you guys get to see my hidden desktop, my desktop behind it. Thanks, guys, for pointing that out. We'll move our gappers list back in so you can see it. All right, we've got a couple of minutes. Very rare for me. Let's take a peek at what people are looking at. See what you want to look at. CMG. I'm surprised you're putting up CMG. It is virtually impossible to trade, in my opinion. $1,600 stock, gapping up this morning by 5%. They had earnings some point in the last couple of days. I don't actually remember when. When were their earnings? But I can never figure out. Yeah, it was yesterday after the close. Which explains why they're gapping up today, but it just doesn't generally move well. Like I don't like the movement of the stock. Look at the price. Look at the volume. Right, couple 100,000 shares. Right, average volume. Sorry, here is looks like around 200 to 300,000 shares. So CMG is not something I would play whatsoever. Yes, it's gapping up, but at $1,600 and a couple 100,000 shares traded typically. Yeah, not interested, personally. AMD, well, look, I always love AMD. Always love taking a look at it. Pre-market doesn't look particularly great, but I always seem to find opportunity if I'm patient and smart about it. Yesterday, I was a little ambitious in trying to get these reversal plays. If I'd been more patient, I actually had a great setup on AMD, and I took the trade and then really sort of crapped out of it, like I was showing you guys on my journal. AMD, this is where I actually had a great trade opportunity. I took the trade above VWAP, right? Sort of my lightning bolt pattern. No excuse. I'm okay with stopping out a break even, but when it failed to break, I should have re-entered this and gone for the bigger play. I was thinking too small, right? I didn't expand my point of view and look at the bigger picture. If you just look at a 5-minute chart, it's clear it had room to run, and I could have easily held on to this for an all-day runner. But you know what? You got to learn from these things, and as much as it pains me, you know, we can't always do it right. So AMD looks good. Just to keep on the list because I always love looking at it. CCIV, yeah, we looked at that from yesterday. I see on YouTube. Sorry, you're calling it out. By the way, give us a thumbs up, a little like there on on YouTube. Sorry, we'd appreciate that. Helps promote the channel and gets us excited when we know that people are liking what we're doing. CCIV, to me, this is one where you always have to wait for it to open and then see what happens. Like yesterday, if we go back and look at the price action yesterday, remember, it actually didn't do much through the open, right? This was choppy and hard to play. You really had to wait for it to show support at VWAP. Once it showed support at VWAP here, then I probably would have been looking for a trade around here, which would have been around 1 o'clock. So you had to be very, very patient in this. To me, that was the trade opportunity, right? Held that level. Then you can wait and trade it once it held the level. And if I even zoom in on this, you can see that what I'm talking about, it's not about the fact that it punched up. That's just sort of a bonus. What I'm more looking at is that it held, it held VWAP here. It bounced off of it this time. This is where I would play it, right? Because this is the next support of VWAP, and you just happen to have been positioned perfectly for this big run. So CCIV, you can watch it, but it's a game of patience if you choose to take a look at that one. All right, any last thing that you guys want us to take a look at? I think we've got them covered. Wish. All right, we'll take a look at Wish. Meme stock. All right, I'm always a little bit leery about these meme stocks, but it's moving well pre-market. 800,000 shares. Coming off of a bounce over the last couple of days. This may be good for a move up. It may be good. We'll see. Wish is not bad. If you keep a close eye on it, I would be a little cautious with it because I don't know that it has any news today. Best of my knowledge, it doesn't. Let's see here. Any news on it? Yeah, not really seeing any news. So, but yeah, you might want to keep a look on it. Well, let's see what. It's a little early for all of our. A little early, hold on a sec here, for our moderators to have posted their list. So let me go over, and I'd prepared, here's one I'd prepared earlier. I feel like a chef when I ever say that. We'll talk about some IPOs. I always watch the IPOs. It's another thing we do in the room for you, is we watch the IPOs and announce them when they come out. So today, let me just bring this over so you guys can take a look at what our moderators are watching. The other thing that you could take advantage of is that Mike always posts an inspirational quote of the day, something for you to think about in your trading. Today, his quote is, "Temporary failure becomes permanent defeat only when you say so." All right, so there you go. Don't let anything knock you down over the long term. So Thor is saying it's not clear what he's watching. He's going to be looking at Apple, Space, and SPY with a secondary list of XPEV, CCL, and NVIDIA. With that list, I can understand. Not a lot of stuff that's moving heavily. I don't blame him. I'm sort of feeling the same way. Tiffany's watching CCL, AMC, and DKNG. The IPOs I mentioned, I posted those up just a second ago. We've got a whole lot that are supposed to be coming out today, and there's no guarantee. And before you ask, I have no idea what time they're going to be released, right? We don't know. They never announce a time for the IPOs, so that's why you have to keep an eye on them and just trade them when they open. So on the IPO front, we've got KLTR, VEEE, PYCR, VTEX, LAW, and TCBC. And then we've got SPACs, which are special purpose acquisition companies, which essentially means they're buckets of money that they can use to acquire or invest in other companies. Right now we got two that may be released today on PFTAU and DCRDU. All right. So, then Brian is going to be watching Neuro. Oh, he's already trading Neuro. Coca-Cola, CCL, and our favorite DKNG. Let's see what Coke is doing. Oh yeah, and he's sorry, it was Neuro that he's already long in. Well, that's not moving as better if you were long in Coke. Anyways, he's already long Neuro. Hopefully that jumps up for him. Oh, am I not looking at it? Hold on a sec. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, that explains why Brian is long in Neuro. All right, with that, guys, thank you so much for supporting us here at Bearable Traders. Thanks for supporting the channel on YouTube. Hopefully, we'll see you in the room soon if you're not already a member. And why don't we take just a quick look? If you're if you are a member and a new member, why don't you say hi to us here? Any new members? There you go. We've got a few that have joined us, some new members who are in the room recently. So hello to all of you. Wow, so many names. I can't even list you all. It's going by too fast. But hello to everybody that's a new member in the room. We love having you here and seeing you all as part of our membership. So hopefully you'll join us if you're out there on YouTube. Use one of those discount codes we mentioned earlier, and have a great trading day. We will be going live, so just give me a second for the changeover. We will be taking you live through the market with probably Thor and Brian for sure. And you'll stick with us and you'll have a chance to do that. We'll probably keep this live for about half an hour after the market open. Stay tuned.
Okie dokie. Well, those that were in the room yesterday knew I sold those IBM 14750 calls, which I covered a lot of them yesterday, or at least bought them back yesterday. So I sold them for about $1.20 and bought them back at 15 cents.
Huh. There you go. That's a good return.
Yeah. So I'm actually watching Coke today, see if we get some sort of toppy action on this pop on the earnings, and maybe look at selling some upside calls or buying. I don't know, we're talking about selling some upside calls and hoping to buy them back later in the week. The Neuro is dropping a bit. This is a low float stock, guys, so just have to be careful with this one. I find that these low floats will go for a run, in somewhere around 9 o'clock or before. 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then as we get close to the open, quite often they pull back. So we'll see what they're doing. No, they're naked. calls. They are a little risky, but yeah, I mean, they're going to move. If they do move against you, they'll move more than the just shorting the stock. So you have to be pretty sure that a top has been put in before you sell them. When you're naked, it means you do not own any shares. So one way, if you wanted to take profits in IBM and you own the IBM shares, you could sell upside calls against them.
This is the way it always
and then,
happens.
You always risk getting called away at the higher strike price. But, you've still pocketed the premium plus, the gain that you've seen. If you're naked and you sell calls, you could potentially lose a lot of money. But the thing is, you do have a bit of a buffer. 140, though IBM 147.50s, I sold for $1.20. So I would be in a losing position at the end of the week if it would have to be close to 149, just under 149 for me to be in a losing position on that trade, because it would be the strike price plus the premium I got paid. So no question, it's a bit of a risky strategy, but it worked for me last earnings season. I just kept noticing that when the banks started reporting that they would pop on good earnings and then sell off. So I did it actually on JPM last week. So it seems like this pattern is repeating itself this earnings season. A lot of the good earnings are priced in. All right, let's take a look at and Neuro is the only one that really has got me somewhat interested right now. Yeah, I do it through TD.
It is moving. Okay. I want to give a shout out to Nathan on YouTube. He gave us a super chat, so thanks for that, Nathan. Appreciate it. I'm going to put my watch list together here. What am I going to be watching?
And good morning, gentlemen.
Thor! Good morning, sir.
How's it going?
I'm going to watch Neuro.
I'm having fun watching Carnival Cruise Lines right now that had this really fun pacing bid that was going up. It was on ARCA and ACB routes, and it was around 1,700 lot on each route, both. And every time the price went up, they were chasing after it, like just trying to get filled. And then it finally filled them at like 22.08. And then you see this big volume spike that just drops down. That was those orders blasted. So CCL, I don't know what to make of this thing, but right now it's opening really high in its range, y'all. So it might have an opening squeeze, and then might actually be a fade today if the market decides to go weak. But if the market goes strong, I wouldn't trade against it on cruise lines or travel. It'll just be choppy.
Oh, Thor, good morning.
Good morning, good sir.
How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. How is the profit of profit doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Just, again, it's kind of a morning where there's only a few things that are kind of interesting. Thankfully, Neuro is, again, it's kind of low float, but it seems to be in play here. Bitcoin must be up
You've been
today.
getting some really good opportunities out of these, pre-market low floats.
Yeah.
It's like they're almost done by the time the market opens. It's almost just fun to play them now and then be done with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, you seem to get this run, sometimes starting between 8:45, 8:30, and 9, and then and then going into the open kind of.
What time's Robinhood's servers open? That's probably a correlation there.
Oh, possibly. I don't know. Anyway, I am watching. I'm watching Nero. I'm watching CCL.
That's a solid point, Brock. Brock mentioned this, which I think is a solid point. Actually, is these are really good runners in the pre-market too because they're vaulted in pre-market trading.
Yes, that's true.
So it gives a good opportunity to move these things. They're really, a stock, you moved it from $12 to $18 without, any kind of issue. Pretty sweet.
So I'm sure Jarad has mentioned this morning that I was talking and engineering the markets, getting a bit of a follow-through day today to the upside. Had a nice bounce back. Turnaround Tuesday, some people like to call it. So we'll see where we go from here. Yeah. So is Bitcoin up today? Nvidia. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Nvidia too. I mean, I'm almost inclined to sell some 180 puts. Because I think Nvidia is going to keep going higher here. What is that? What are the? Oh, that's weird. So Bitcoin's lost 30,000 again. Huh. Why is Riot, Mara, and CAN up? That's weird.
Yeah, Bitcoin's at like what right now? 31.
Maybe
31,545.
I'm looking at CoinDesk. Yeah, you're right. I didn't refresh my browser. 31.5. Yeah, so it is up. Okay.
Marginally.
Hey, Thor. Thor. What day is it, Thor?
It's Thursday.
What day is it? It is.
It's Hump Day.
Wednesday. Hump Day. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Wow. Apple just took a bit of a punt here.
Oh, I love the word punt. I'm going to be using that.
I know.
Punt is a word, bunk.
Punt. It's a woody sort of word. Punt. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. So here we go. We've got 1.5 minutes. Yeah, so we'll see what Neuro does. At least it's easier to say than SGOC.
Yeah, there goes CCL. I told you that big order chased in. As soon as that order filled, now CCL's dropping back. There's a lot of liquidity on CCL now to the downside. 2150 standing out very strongly to me. So you're coming back to VWAP now. So we might chop a little bit here on CCL, and then maybe we make a move lower today, depending on what the market does. I think a lot of people are anticipating a follow through today. I know that seems to be like what the futures were indicating earlier this morning. So, but I don't know. Well, you never know what's going to happen in this market.
Yeah. I'm not so convinced. I think we're.
I'm with you. I think we need more.
BA's popping up here. I'm going to keep an eye on BA. Space is dropping.
All right, everybody. Good luck, everyone. Keep it green. Talking to myself here. Try and stay patient. And don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Anything you wouldn't do.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, here we go. huge jump on Nero. Yeah, here, wow. Ooh, Syncorama. Just bought into that little bit of a sink there at 15, at 16, I should say. Just a small size, just to get back in again. Gonna sell some there at 17 or 1690 filled. See what it does. See what it does. Ooh, okay, Coke is dropping hard. See, it comes back up. Sell some more. 17 or actually 17 filled. It's kind of crazy. Still holding Nero a little bit here. Okay, selling some more here through 18. Whew. Okay, that little drop at the open was really the opportunity to get in there. Oh, it's going to get halted.
Dang, I almost bought Carnival at VWAP. I just couldn't do it. That would have been nice, but.
Oh yeah, look at that on that pullback. Yeah, that was a nice little pullback. Apple's coming back up again. Space is trading like space. Usual chop fest. Okay, so I've got some shares I'm holding through this halt here. Well, Nero has really made my day here, so I'm just looking and watching CCL at this point.
It's being a little erratic right now, so.
Yeah. Took it long at 15.
It keeps popping and then getting flushed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Took a little long at 15, 22.15. Yeah, every time it tries to get above 20, it kind of pulls back here. So that doesn't make me feel good about this position. We'll stick with it here unless it drops below 22. Yeah, not liking the way it's trading. I'm getting out of it. All right, well, out of it at 2207. So it still might go, but it just feels like it's right at this fair value level, and it doesn't want to leave it. We'll see. It might take off, but I don't like the way it's trading. So I don't really feel like I have an advantage on it right now. It's back at the 9 moving average, so see if it holds here.
I'm still waiting. I still haven't taken any. Oh, XPEV went. Dang, I should have been paying attention. Nah. All right, let's see. I'm long XPEV for the R4 break.
Okay, now here goes. Maybe CCL. Yeah. XPEV. Yeah, XPEV and Lee are going. Oh, they're going. All right, Donkey Kong's going too. Yeah, there goes CCL now. Is going to go after it. Yeah, it kind of held the 9 moving average there on that pullback. Now it wants to go.
Hey, boss.
Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry I'm late. Good morning. So CCL seems interesting.
Yeah, CCL is going.
Definitely interesting.
Still long. I'm still holding Nero. It's still we're still in a halt here.
Took a partial on XPEV at 42.50. Let's see if it holds here and moves up. If it fails this breakout, I'm out.
SPY's moving. Space is popping up here. After that pullback, didn't hesitate to start to go higher. Crazy. So we got an R4 level here on CCL up around 2250.
Neuro reopening in 10 seconds.
See what happens with Nero.
I might jump long on the Noro after the halt. Let's see. That's a very interesting one.
Oh, seems like they're holding it more than 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, they did that with another one. CCL space is going. It's going to probably pull back here. It's right at yesterday's high. It's probably going to find some resistance here.
Partial on XPEV just under R5.
Yeah, they're holding Nero longer.
There we go.
That's interesting. Nice on XPEV.
Thank you. Very nice trade, Jog.
I'm getting out of my CCL long position. It just didn't seem like wants to really move forward.
Looking at some KO calls, 5750s. It's not really a great premium on it. It's not like IBM was. Only get 26 cents. Sell some calls here, so not sure that I'll take that trade. I'm still waiting for Leo.
I'm short Coke.
Short Coke?
Yeah, I shorted it 67.30. Oh, nice. What
Yeah,
a break.
nice.
Partial at R4. I'm doing the R6, R5 rejection here. Beautiful.
Yeah, nice one. Came down to fair value. So this is where this is right at the low of the market open.
Diet Coke. Come on, don't bounce. Don't bounce. Come on, go down. Thing's going to squeeze me. I can feel it. Go down. Don't.
I think it's probably one of those trades that might just leak off a little bit here today.
Well, I figured it had such an aggressive pop already, and it's just been stalling up here for the past 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
I thought I'd give it a go. Short.
So there's your pullback on space. It's just pretty much exactly where you'd expect it to pull back. It actually, that previous day high was right at 33. It did pop up through there, and now we're getting a really significant pullback here on it. You might watch it just to see if it bounces off the VWAP here.
Out the rest of my XPEV position.
I'll take a little bit of a long on space here, 32.20.
Come on.
See if it just holds the VWAP here. If it doesn't, I'll get out of it. This is yesterday's close right here. See where it's bouncing from now. It just happens to be very close to the VWAP. Seems to be trying to hold here.
Euro is still the halt, huh? This is a
Yeah,
news
it's still
pending
in a
halt.
hold.
Looks like a news
Oh, is it?
pending halt. Ah, damn! From $11 to 20. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
no, crazy.
Well, they've held Miro more than 10 minutes now, which is very rare right at the open, so something must be going on.
Sold a bit of space here at 32, 33
Out the rest of my Coke position.
on this bounce. I think Coke's going to kind of just bounce around here.
Yeah, I got the good drop on it from top to bottom of this range,
Yeah.
but it does not appear like it is ready to lose the range or gain the range. So I'm gonna get away from it for a little bit and let it chop.
I'm out of the rest of space there. 32.15, just a marginally profitable trade.
Oh, Nvidia's moving.
Didn't bounce the way I wanted it to.
Is there a shares for short for NURO, Noro?
I don't think so.
I
It's
do
only
not.
It's only 3.8 million share float.
AMC might pop up to about 44. Let's see what AMC. By the way, you guys can see my screen. If you switch, you might be able to see my screen. People in the chat. AMC, I was thinking of a long on AMC for the break of 44. Adding some long on it, more 44 to 44.50.
Yeah, AMC's definitely
Possible.
seems to always want to be in play. Ah, darn, there's your space. Space is going to
perfect.
bounce here.
On a daily chart, AMC seems strong. Let's see if we can go. I'm adding a little bit more on AMC at 44. Let's see if we can get to break of high of the day.
I'm long Nvidia at 191, or sorry, 191, like 70. Seeing if it's going to go through R4 and break out here.
NVIDIA is
It broke its range.
Oh, NVIDIA had a split. It's back.
Yeah,
to
Nvidia
200.
split. Yeah,
Nice.
it's back in a tradable range now.
Yeah,
Guys,
split on
so-
two.
But yesterday it was crap. It just trapped in a range basically all day yesterday. Looks like it might be trying to move a little.
Okay, so AMC is
AMC
popping
is-
up. Let's see.
Yeah,
Long
it's
AMC,
right at
guys. Sold
it's right
some
at
at
yesterday's high.
44.47. There you go. That's my trade of the day. That's got half a point on AMC. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, look at this beauty. You might go to 45.
Yeah, it got through yesterday's high.
See, Kyle, do you believe that AMC became like $1,000 stock? Do you remember, Brian?
GME.
We were trading it like it was $100. Remember that? It's just
Yeah. Dang, damn it, there goes space. Hey, there goes your Coke, Thor.
you guys are doing coke here in the chat? I was just here
Finally.
one week.
Dang it. Of course it did.
What's going on here?
Why not?
It came back and took me out and then dropped. That's not
Yeah,
very nice.
it dropped.
New members, believe me, the chat room is not going to be like that. I'm back. No more coke. No more coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more. No more of that.
No.
I bailed on my NVIDIA long at a break even. Let it pull back.
The challenge with Coke, of course, is it's a NYSE stock, so it can be a little bit trickier to trade.
I'm selling some AMC. AMC is going to go 245. So I'm holding some of my AMC position here, guys, for break of 45. Beauty, beauty. Pop above 45.
Man, they're hunting me today. XPEV came back and took me out I was at 42.13. It took me out to the penny. Now it's up like a buck. Coke took me out by a couple of cents. Now it's dropping both directions. What's going on here, guys?
Coke's chopping you up here. CCL is still looking strong here. It's just grinding higher.
So are we live on YouTube, huh? Guys, on YouTube, can you do some like for the return of Andrew Aziz? Do you think we can get some to 300 like? That's a good one. Nice, thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are watching actually. So anyone logging on AMC with me? Yep, I'm back in Vancouver.
Qs have gone, Qs are the only index red and they've gone green on the day. So we're,
IWM is solid, really strong. Oh yeah, beauty. Look at this AMC. I was going to add some on AMC on this pullback, but selling some more at 45.20. Oh, look at this beauty.
Yeah, look at the apes. The apes are buying AMC.
Beauty, beauty.
Still waiting for Neuro to open. Apple's looking a little weak here. Yeah, it'll open eventually. I've got an order put in now for $20. Hopefully, I'll maybe get a fill.
Next pop on AMC. Beauty. I was going to add, and this pullback was really nice to add 45.50 ish. Yeah, that was a really, really good place to add.
145. Yeah, maybe I should up my bid. I should just I'll put in my ask at 144.
Ford. For some reason, I have a lot of Ford. I don't know why. This Ford position was a mistake.
Maybe that was me. I talked you into that one.
Yeah, always Ford calls. No, that was a mistake. I was going to buy something else, and I bought 1,000 shares of Ford by mistake. And I said, you know what? I might as well just keep it. But my average is at 1450. If it gets, I doubt we're gonna get to 1450. To be honest with you. And I hate seeing this, so I'm gonna Ford 1,000 shares.
I think Ford's going to be okay, honestly.
Are you sure?
Well, I think in the latter half of the year, as long as the market doesn't sell off. Yeah, I got along some AMC with you there.
AMC, oof.
Yeah.
To the moon.
46.
To the moon.
46 on deck here. 46. 46. Give us 46.
Man, I'm so glad I was in Peru in the last couple of days when IWM just brutally sold off. This position that I had on IWM was horrible in the last couple of days.
Still waiting for 46 here on AMC. We may not get there. They'll sell some.
I think AMC is going to go to 46, possible move to 46. So I'm actually adding some here at 45.50. Let's see. I don't want to mess up my entry so bad. So I added a little bit more here. My average is now 45. If I add too much, then my average becomes a mess. So my average is at now around 45, and my stop loss would be around 45. So this could be a good 920 trade later on a 2-minute chart. Oh, there it goes, popping back up. Oh, now look at that. Oh, look at this beauty. Oh, look at this beauty. Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice one.
Did you see the ad? Nice. AMD. I'm not looking at anything else. Why would I? An AMC is so beautiful. I don't want anything else. 47. Why would I look at anything else? Yeah, exactly. Greed is something that you should not mess around with. When you have such a beautiful thing, I'm getting out of this Ford, man. I just don't like that. AMC.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so look at CCL go too. CCL's popping higher.
Peter and Thor, I just wanted to thank you guys for covering me when I was in Peru. I really, really appreciate that. Sorry. You guys are the best. I am so fortunate to work with all of you guys.
Team effort. It was a team effort.
Thank you so much. Oh, you were not noticing that I was gone? You are the best, guys. I love you so much. So do you think AMC can get to 47? I think that has a good possibility. So there is somehow a level at 46.55 that we bounce back just right here on a daily chart. I think 47 is very, very likely. It could be a good 920 trade. Actually, yeah, maybe not because it's... I know, and you know that was very interesting because no one really mentioned anything when I was gone. So it means that chatroom was really great. So I'm so fortunate to work with you guys. 46.36, huh? On AMC. Yeah, it bounced back from here. I think it's kind of extended AMC. It's due for a pullback. My average is at 45.04. I don't know if I want to hold longer. I got a really, really nice run on it, almost three points. So I'm up, almost $9,000 on it. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to hold this position. That's going to be the trade of the day for me. That's good. I had a little bit of CCL trade as well. So I just rolled out of the bed. Can't believe that. It's market, man. It's market.
I don't really know. All I know is seems to be halted for some pending news or something. I can't tell you why it's halted. Still halted. Yeah, usually 5 minutes is a typical just volatility halt. Sometimes if it's really crazy, sometimes they hold it for a bit longer, like 10 minutes. But this is way longer than 10 minutes, obviously. Okay, so is that the case? Lots of imbalance in the orders. So they keep extending the halt.
Sometimes if it's the news halt, it can get halted for until the company does a press release. Is it a news halt? Breaking news or no?
I think Brian is saying it's just it's got to do with
it says it's volatility. So
volatility still. Yeah, if there's a huge imbalance at the open, then they continue to halt it. I wonder,
guys,
YouTube balance must be to the long side.
Fuck, TNA is still running up, huh? No mercy on TNA.
Yeah, it's up 1.5%. The IWM.
The IWM is strong. And YouTube guys, do you think we can get 40 more likes to 400? I'm sorry asking, because the reason that I'm asking is these likes and engagement really helps our channel to grow. And I think our channel, compared to a lot of time and content that we're producing and a lot of time that we are putting, I mean, we don't get that much, engagement. So that's why we were wondering if you guys can help us to grow the channel. Just by your engagement, that little like helps a lot, guys. Really, you because that's how the algorithm works with YouTube and Google. You know, the more engagement from the users, they just promote the channel better and better. So we really appreciate that. Sorry we're asking that all the time, but I know it's a little bit annoying, but that helps really.
I just got filled on Nero.
Oh, Nero is open. Fuck it! I opened at 24. I got halted again.
I know. I just got filled. I had an order at 20.
I know. I'm not gonna trade it until you kind of find a range that it's not volatile. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a little bit tough to trade now. I mean, probably after a couple of more halts, it gets into a range, and then you can wait until for a breakout. But not now. I'm not gonna trade it anymore. Not anymore. I mean, I didn't trade it now. Really nice. Really, really nice. So AMC, the only position that I have is AMC, is doing some sort of a 9 to. So AMC, there's no news on it, huh? It's still just Wall Street bet play.
Yeah, and it's just been in play for whatever reason. It's over the last couple of days, our AMC specialist Jarad has been trading it almost every day.
AMC specialist in house.
Yeah, we've got an in-house, just like Peter's our AMD guy.
Yeah.
Paging Andrew Aziz. Please report to Human Resources, Mr. Aziz. We understand there's swearing happening on YouTube. Andrew Aziz, please report to Human Resources.
What did they do wrong again? Okay, I'm getting out of my AMC. It's now my break-even point. It could be a possible 920 trade, but I just got out of it at 45. I made a really decent money on it, so I'm kind of done with my day. So I really don't need to mess around with it. I had a really nice move on it, almost 3 points. So Peak Capital Bootcamp, Jason, is you can send an email norm@peakcapitaltrading.com. That would be the best. I was doing FaceTime with Ardi at Peak Capital office. I saw three new people in the chat in the office, and I told him, Ardi, who are these guys? We just keep hiring people while I'm gone. There are 3 people working in my office and I don't know them.
That's crazy.
No, it's not in person, but possibly we can, because now we have a big office in Vancouver. We were thinking of actually having bootcamp in person too. Now that pandemic is over almost, thank God.
No, I'm not involved in Peak. Okay. So I don't have any more shares in Nero. I sold them all on that pop. So now we're just now it's a halt, but it's halt on a red bar. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. You don't usually want to get stuck in a halt on the way down on a red bar. So we'll see. There you go. Thanks, Nate. Yeah, you don't really want to get stuck on a red bar heading down here. So this might not be bode well. We'll see how it opens.
Strong. New is also really, really strong. I like that.
Yeah, all the Chinese car companies are strong today.
Janak, I mean, we might have opening. We might have some sort of a grand opening, maybe a party or something. Janak, I'll let you know for Peak Capital office. We just kind of finishing furnishing it. So we're gonna. It's already Ryan PDT came. Brian has come over, so we're gonna have some good time together in the office. And Peter might come. Local people, Dima, Simon.
Have to get Peter out of Ottawa.
Peter, stop hiding in Ottawa and start traveling. The pandemic is over. I miss traveling with Peter so much, man. It was so much fun traveling with Peter.
Well, I'm fully vaxxed now, so we can go anywhere.
And you don't need to isolate anymore. So I came last night to the airport. We just ask you a bunch of questions, and you don't need to even isolate anymore if you travel internationally and fully vaccinated.
Yep. Ready to rock.
Hero got halted again.
Are we going to Alaska, Andrew?
We're going where?
Are we going to Alaska?
Alaska, yeah, mid-August. So we're planning to do some. I want to go to see Greg and Jung. So these 2 members, old members that we have. I was there back in 2019. So Norm is coming too. So we might have a small meetup. So just fishing, camping, hiking. Anyone wants to come to Alaska, we can set up.
That's a good question, Reagan. It's a it's $1 million question. Obviously, you don't know. You can use partialing and then use a moving average, or you can use time, because typically I suspect that these runs like on CCL and space and will start to peter out. Use the analogy or use of the word peter, but I think they'll kind of start running out of steam a little bit here after in another 10 minutes or so.
Brian, you still in?
So kind of flatten out.
You still in neuro?
No, I took the rest of it off on that. Pop up at that.
I thought it was just a partial because it opened and closed again. No. Now it's up even higher. So
I know.
Crazy.
It's at 20. Yeah.
AMC is gonna go back up. We did a really nice 920 trade on the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, 2 minute. It didn't really drop much. It got back to the 9 and then kind of held the 9. mRNA is pulling back a bit here today. Man, it was up at, wow, it was up over 340 yesterday. Now it's at 296. Yeah, all the, like I said, all the Chinese internet stocks have been strong today. XPEV has been strong.
AMC is beautiful. AMC is beautiful. Ah, damn, why am I not in AMC?
Yeah, right back up to high of day. BA had a nice pop at the open. It's funny, Apple is down on the day, and it's still looking weak. Huh.
Green everywhere. Green everywhere.
Yeah, green everywhere. Yeah, there's still some red on the screen today. Baba's down. Amazon's down. Netflix is down. Ah, shit. That was one stock I was going to look at for selling calls. Kind of missed that boat.
Green everywhere. So I'm all flat, guys, on my day trade. I have a little bit of ARK and TNA on this account. And on this account, I have a little bit of TNA. This offshore account was interesting that I'm not trading it much, but it's just keep growing. I don't know why. I'm not touching it much, but it just keeps growing. I have an account with Alliance because I can't, as a Canadian, you can't open an account with CMEX. So I opened this with Alliance like last year, like $500,000. Now it's 1.2. I don't know. I don't trade much on it, but it just keeps growing up. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's good as long as it goes up. So I have a little bit of account on that and see how it is. And I'm hoping that TNA here, the other TNA, I'm just holding this on that.
You like Warren Buffett?
You know, Warren Buffett is not really giving good returns that much for Berkshire. I mean, he used to give really good returns like back in the 80s, but since the dot-com bubble, he barely beats S&P 500, to be honest with you. And all of his magical return was just for the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
What CCL is doing? CCL is running up. I got a good move on CCL.
Yeah, it's going through 23.
CCL cruises started, huh? Because I was in Seattle. I saw a big cruise going toward Alaska.
Yeah. They usually stop in Vancouver, but Vancouver hasn't opened yet, so they're skipping over Vancouver.
How was brutal drop on CCL during the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. I think there was some concern about some of the variants, the Delta variant.
Peak Capital Bootcamp today, guys. A mentorship session at 11. We're going to talk about the advanced technology and the resources that you can use. So don't forget at 11 a.m. Peak Capital Traders.
Space is still squeezing people here. It's still going up. Yeah, all of the there's a lot of the airlines are doing well today. I think UAL reported maybe that's what's driving a lot of this.
Chuck, that's for peak capital traders, for the bootcamp, not for the variable traders. So, and most of them are just in the chat room anyway. So that's why I mentioned.
Well, Thor had the right idea with Coke. Eventually, it started to break down. See, this is another example of a stock that gaps up at the after earnings and then just starts to sell off. I would have done that trade if with calls, but it just the premium just wasn't elevated. I should have done it on Netflix. Is what I should have done it on.
Ryan, Coke. What's the ticker on Coke you guys are talking about?
KO.
KO.
Hey Brian, check it out. I just nailed a 920 trade on Neo. It did a reverse and then it went down, bumped the 20, pulled back to the 9 moving average, and then made a new low. I went short. 1 minute though, not the 2 minute.
Oh, nice.
But I went short on it using the 9 moving average as my risk management.
Yep.
Got 2 to 1 really easy. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. It may squeeze against me, but I always like showing them when they work.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, right now, Coke or Neo is setting up for a 920 trade here. It's been strong all morning. Right around 10 o'clock. This is the time it happens. You get this sort of topping pattern. Looking at it on a 2-minute chart, you get kind of a double top there. Loses the 9 moving average, which it's been using as support, and drops down to the 20. Now the 20 is at 45.50 right now on my chart. It may bounce here. So if it does get down to 45.50, I might take Neo long here. And then I'll take half off when we get back up to the 9. And then hold the rest and see if it continues to go higher. So you can kind of see here, things are, CCL's kind of flattening out here. We're kind of getting into time of day where we're where the all these runs have gone. Someone asked me about what how do you know when to hold, how long to hold. Once you get into a good run, I would say that's another way to look at it. Just kind of watch for some topping action. CCL, okay, here we got Nero is just erratic. Here we go, it's going through 30 now. Crazy. I would sure love to know how you can figure these out. Which ones run and which ones just die. I haven't been able to find any logical explanation why you can have two different stocks with roughly the same float. One's a dud and one's a neuro. Yeah, it's just
these halts don't seem to be
crazy.
These halts don't seem to be calming anybody down on Nero. Every time it opens, it just jumps another $4 now.
Yeah, it's crazy town. CCL still is trying to push higher here. It's 23. I'm kind of watching CCL. Jordan Belford. Yeah, I'm still watching CCL to see if it does a 920 trade here. So the SPY is just like for the last 15 minutes, we've just been flatlining. The Qs not really doing too much, kind of rolling over a little bit right now. BA continues to go higher. Yeah, all the travel stocks seem to be in play today. Energy stocks looking good. The banks are doing well today. 4605. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so NEO just about touched the 9 moving average. I missed that entry. Dang. So it's back up at the VWAP or at the 9 moving average. So if I'd gotten an entry here around, I should have taken an entry around 45.70. So I would be taking some off here at 45 sort of 90 right at the moving average, 9 moving average, and then looking for over 46 for another partial. Yeah, I know.
All right, guys, the markets are slowing down this morning. I want to thank everybody on YouTube for joining us. We appreciate you being here. We'll be back live again on YouTube tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, with Engineering the Markets and Jarad. And then Norm and I will continue our, backfill for Carlos as he's off on vacation. And it looks like Andrew's back, so we get live trading with Andrew.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, we're going to be live trading starting tomorrow. I'm going to at least promise you 1 week not traveling. YouTube guys, thank you so much. For those of you who don't want to give at least $19 to join the chat room, so at least give us a like on YouTube, please, for the free show. I know you don't want to pay at least $19, so at least give us a like to pay for the software subscription that we are broadcasting. Maybe we get to 500 likes. I doubt we get to 500 likes, but if 70 of you can do that, that would be nice. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. The hop was great, Giancarlo. It was. I mean, I have a CT scan next week, but it looks really, really good. So, I mean, I had no problem in the mountains with it. Although they gave me one of these nitro sprays, but works like a boss, like a clock. So I'm gonna see live trading, and I'm gonna share a screen and camera tomorrow. So I woke up late this morning, so I didn't have to plan, because I have to plan it now that we are live streaming on YouTube. I have to plan it.
Andy, you said $19. I think it's 20.
Oh, here we go with Neuro.
Neuro is back up. Oh, got halted again? No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's the news on it? Is it cure for cancer or something?
I don't know. Let's do a quick Benzinga search.
Got halted again.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's actually $24 for those on YouTube if you want to join us for 1 week in the chat room. Here's the code. Pre-market 24 is what you can use. It gives you a $24 price off of our 1 week test drive. If you want to join us, you get 50% off your first month. For a monthly subscription, use the code OPTIONS50.
Yeah, so we are launching an option course in the community. Ardi spent a lot of time on it, actually. So an option course is going to be part of the Elite membership. So for those of you who want to check out all of the Elite resources, all the webinars, psychology webinars and everything, and including the option course, you can sign up for Elite monthly. For the first month would be 50%, like almost pretty much your basic membership, and then after that it turns out to be $199, and of course you can cancel at any time. So that's just a promotion for the 50% for the first month.
I can't believe I actually had Neuro at 1690. And
All right,
then
with that,
at the open 16. Yeah, guys. Anyway, give us a like, and thanks for joining us this morning.
yeah. All right, take care, everybody.